Another week in the NBA, and the process begins anew here for another week on the Splash Play NBA channel. Of course, we're going to do what we always do on this channel, compare my data, my lovingly crafted projections, to one of the industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see who the top plays are, who the top value plays are. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. We'll also go game by game, take a look at the ownership along the way, seeing how things look, where the leverage plays, things like that. We'll run a sim without my interference, just using Stokastic data. Hopefully, it'll be updated by then. But if not, I've got my updates in for all the guys that rolled out right before the show. And by this video, you'll know all of the industry's must plays along with my splash plays for December 1st. Hey, a brand new month here. Let's get into it. And shout to the chat. Shout to you guys hanging out here. Another day nursing at the nipple of knowledge. Thank you. Thank you for that, Steven. Hope I had a good holiday. Hope you all had a good holiday as well. I was here on Black Friday, so the grind continues on, but I appreciate it as always. Yes, it was a lovely time hanging out with family on Thanksgiving itself. And, now we get a lot of activities, things that we have to do here around this time of year. But I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people out there, especially if you guys that have kids and in-laws, things like that. And shout out to my guy Chunk. Glad to see him here. But let's get into the NBA stuff, and have made some little changes, guys. If you are a member on the channel, you have two exciting new gifts, which I'll see if I can bust them out here. I won't just roll them out. My temptation is when I put something new in, I just want to click it right away. And I've got a couple of new things, actually, that I want to show you guys today. But I'm going to save it. I'm going to save the rollout here. We'll just put up our Stokastic ad. We'll put our whoring up, and then we'll get to work. Nikola Jokic, not on our main DraftKings slate, so he doesn't matter, and he can, in fact, go to hell for that. Nikola Jokic, 68 fantasy points for him. Looks good at a 13-3 DraftKings salary. FanDuel, he'll be an elite play as well, I am sure, because they probably have this game on their slate. That said, not on the main slate, so we don't care. But Jokic is my top projected guy here for 68 fantasy points, playing super well and playing even better thanks to no Aaron Gordon out there, no Christian Brown out there. Luka Doncic at number 2. Looks good as well, but he's not on the main slate either. 57 fantasy points. LeBron should be back in today, but again, not on the main slate here. Doesn't matter too much. Jokic 1, Luka 2. That's how that looks pretty much every slate for me. Jalen Johnson, things moving around here because no Kristaps Porzingis today. So I did change the minutes here for Jalen Johnson, trying to reflect what he's had previously with Porzingis out. So Jalen Johnson, I have at 37.5 minutes, probably a little more aggressive than what Stokastic's going to give him. But as a result, my projection is now at 54 fantasy points, and Stokastic data still includes Porzingis. So not a perfect one-to-one comparison right now, but it doesn't mean for me a meaningful uptick in Jalen Johnson's ability to make lineups. I've got him in 33% of my top 150. Field at 16. It's going to be the case for a lot of guys today when I go through the data, because Stokastic did not update before the show for all these guys have been rolled out, and I had to kind of manually do it to make sure that you guys had a decent enough read here for the time that we're doing the video. Who thought trading Okoro would ruin this Cavs team? Yeah, it's probably just they ran hot last year, but it should be still a fun Cavs team today because you are going to miss a few guys. No Garland, no Lonzo, no Jared Allen, who's Will Fingy. I don't actually know which finger it is. Well, pretend his Will Fingy, he hurts too much. He can't play basketball. So he's going to be out for a week, it looks like. Cavs, not short-handed, but they're going to project well because they're missing a few guys. The exact opposite is the case for Giannis here. Giannis somewhat minutes limited, it seems like, coming off his adductor injury, I believe is what he had. 11.5 salary for him, 27.7 minutes. Think that for Giannis here at 11.5, he is one of your pay-up options. Certainly that's appealing. But straight up, I have Jalen Johnson projected better when you have less guys in for the Hawks with no Porzingis, still no Trae Young. From Milwaukee, you do have Kevin Porter back in. You have Ryan Rollins with a sort of higher usage role in his brain lately. And less minutes for Giannis too. So kind of a double whammy there, but really for Giannis, less minutes, higher salary. Makes it hard to get to. Only getting him in 3% of my lineups right now. Fields at about 7.5. Donovan Mitchell, 27% for me. Fields at 16. Again, this number will probably come up because, again, Stokastic isn't updated for the extra Cavs being out. They already had Allen out, but did not have Lonzo out, did not have Darius Garland out. So Mitchell's projection is going to come up. The ownership, I'm sure, will come up as well. Right now, again, before the show, his ownership was at 16. I've got him at 27, so I got to imagine he'll be at least 25% of the Fields lineups when things update. Evan Mobley, the guy in the thumbnail, if you don't recognize that face, it is sometimes, I feel like I put a guy who's like not a star in the thumbnail, and it's like, I don't know if people are going to know who this guy is, especially when you count for up in the contrasts for the sake of the YouTube thumbnail and all that. But it's Evan Mobley. So Evan Mobley, 8,500, played 38 minutes yesterday for Cleveland. It was yesterday, right? I think they're on a back-to-back. Let me just make sure that's the case. They played Boston yesterday. No Jared Allen in this one either. You saw Mobley play 38.7 minutes. So I gave him a little bit less, gave him 37.5 today. He does get pretty big rate increases because of not having Jared Allen on the court. Mobley averages overall about 26% usage without Allen on the court. Rebound rate holds steady. A little more assist upside. I would have him for 1.33 fantasy points a minute today. Evan Mobley and Mitchell looking pretty good. Matchup against Indiana certainly doesn't hurt. So we have a team that's, I think, still mostly good for Cleveland going against Indiana, who we know does play something fast enough. Technically, they're at the same pace as Cleveland this year, but same pace there, 101 pace and change, and is not a great defense. That's all good stuff for a shorthanded Cleveland team with Mitchell and Mobley, despite the back-to-back. But getting right now, Mobley at 75% of my lineups, Fields at 27. With a more conservative minutes projection that Stokastic will probably give, I have to imagine they'll go like 35 or something. That'll probably come down a little bit more. James Harden, $9,800 salary, coming up a good amount here. Despite the fact that Kawhi is back in, Harden's holding steady. This is, if you believe in the old James Harden rules of thumb, which cities have the best strip clubs, James Harden's going to play worse than those cities. They are in Miami. They are in Miami tonight, so they were probably in Miami last night. So it's not a data point. The total for the Clippers is what it is. It's still pretty good. 235.5 combined for Clippers in Miami. But, Harden's going to be pretty chalky. So Harden's going to be owned about 27%. I did not downgrade him or anything. I just got him at a 50-point projection, right, with Stokastic at 50.2. But I naturally, because of the guys getting a little bit better projected around, some of the players getting ruled out, I got a little bit less James Harden here at 17%. Still a decent play, but if you ever want to downgrade a player for being in a disadvantageous location, does James Harden after he had a night in Miami? Maybe Harden wants to show off. Maybe. I mean, he does have a girlfriend now, according to that starting five show. I don't know if she's still his girlfriend, but I believe so. I had no clue that was Mobley. There you go. That's why I do try to say the thumbnail guys every time at some point up top, because I know people watch the video and they probably click it and they're like, who's that guy in the thumbnail? Because you might not be able to tell because of, again, the contrast being up on it, or because, sometimes their faces just look weird. That's how it looks. But anyway, those are your top plays. Start us off here. Josh Giddey, Cade Cunningham, less owned overall. And really, I'm surprised Giddey didn't come up more. Kobe White, not going to play today, it looks like, because of an illness. Cade Cunningham, I have not had super well projected lately, but certainly he's a tournament option. But these guys right now, both projected under 10%, and that is before some of the injury stuff is going to make some of these guys that I have higher owned. They're going to come up in Stokastic data as well. So I do think Giddey and Cunningham should stay mostly unowned here as your pay-up options to get unique, I guess, perhaps alongside Giannis. Let's see. How about Tiffany here? Was telling Steven Denny's stats on the other night. Yeah. Those are good stats. That's a great non sequitur. I know that's to do with Thanksgiving, but I appreciate the kind words, Tiffany, and your support. Hope you and the fiance had a lovely holiday as well. Jamal Murray, I know you guys too intimately. I feel like I'm starting to learn for being here every day that the connection's getting too human now. I have to be really mean to a few people to balance it out. Jamal Murray, late slate. Alperen Şengün, late slate. Both look like decent plays, though Şengün a bit overpriced to me. According to that DraftKings salary. We're going to sort by value here, guys. So let's do that part now. Before I get into the top values according to the data, please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. Again, goes a long way for me here. Just one person, one guy showing you my gambling across the NBA, across the NFL. And I hope to create content here that doesn't make you feel this way. There's a new GIF. You also, if you're a member, you can put I've been seeing this GIF a lot on Reddit, and I just wanted to use it. So that's my GIF now. But either way, I'm doing the best I can to make this channel incrementally better every day. So please do hit the like button, subscribe. Also, if you want to join the channel, here you go. QR code. Join the Splash Play NBA channel. Get my projections. If you want here, you could also just get $5 tier, support the show, get access to a Discord. But if you want to get access to the screens I show you here on screen, you can check it out for yourself. They update throughout the night because I'm updating lineups just like you guys are. Even for the FanDuel slates, I do update stuff before those games kick off based on starters, things like that. Whenever there's an update needed, Monday to Saturday, I give you one. So do join the channel here. Or, here's the big graphic too. That works. Anyway, that's that. Look at this. QR codes. Hey, what about that? 15% off Stokastic. There's a QR code for that. We got to join the channel. Join Stokastic. Hey, QR codes. Everybody loves QR codes. That's one thing I know from my market testing is that everybody loves QR codes. And they want to pull out their phone and go, ooh, like, do. And that's how that works. So no Alex Sarr today. That means that we are going to get some Wizards value theoretically Who starts here? I don't know. My guess would be it's going to be Tristan Vukcevic against Milwaukee today. Vukcevic has been in the rotation as the backup to Sarr. Bagley out of the rotation. It certainly could go the other way. They could start Bagley. Anything can happen with the Wizards. And there is also the risk that the Wizards play the big guys off the court because Milwaukee's kicking their ass or something, and they just let Giannis get unencumbered run at the rim. But Vukcevic, 3,300. Bagley, 3,500. Does feel like playing one of those to do that. This because you can pause it, Steven. You can here. I'll keep the QR. You know what? Fine. Here, keep the QR code up for Splash Play NBA. There we go. Can I keep two of these? Oh, I can put double ads up. All right, so that's for Splash Play NBA. Thanks, Steven, guys. Now you have ads everywhere. And if you want to use the QR code for Stokastic, 15% off on Stokastic as well. There we go. People have upset. We got Vukcevic again. Yes, so you're going to get one of Vukcevic, one of Marvin Bagley here. So these guys, I think, at very nice price tags for someone who's going to start. So Vukcevic, Bagley, very much strong plays to me today on the slate. As it is right now, though, getting more Vukcevic, the expectation that he plays more minutes. Whoever starts, though, is going to be the one you want. And for what it's worth, this game does start at 7 o'clock, so you will know before the slate starts. So fantastic news there. But important to watch now. Sarr out. One of these guys is going to look really good, and the other one will be the pivot to the other. Evan Mobley, we talked about already. Looks like a great value because of the extra minutes I'm giving him here. Again, he played 38 and change yesterday with no Jared Allen. I would think on the back-to-back, you play a few less, but still should be playing a good amount. But right now, for Evan Mobley, a top value even at 8,500. Keyshawn George, uptick in production expected here for not having Alex Sarr in. The minutes have not been awesome. I think he didn't play a fourth quarter stint yesterday, but he played or last game now they're, rather, not yesterday. They played on the 28th. He played 27 minutes, didn't get back in for the fourth quarter. My thought is he could play about 32 minutes, though. The illness that he was on the injury report for a while, seemingly affecting him not super well. But for how Keyshawn George looks, think that he projects well, certainly may come down a little bit because of the fact that Stokastic may not be as generous to the minutes for him. I gave him 31.5. That gives him a 36 fantasy point, projection for him. And I got him at 38% ownership. My top 150 Fields at 11. But things are going to update here when Stokastic updates. Igor Diomin. So got a rest day after his most recent good performance. Does get Michael Porter Jr. back in for himself. Still no Cam Thomas. But Diomin projected to play 28 minutes. I am at a 25.7 projection. Stokastic has him at 26.7. That results in 55% ownership for the field. And even with me updating for some of the guys being ruled out here and having some better value as a result, I'm still getting Diomin in 71% of my lineup. So it does seem like even with some of the injuries we have, Cleveland opening up a little bit more, Chicago opening up a little bit more, Diomin's still a top value at 4,400 in point guard. Moussa Diabate, 4,200. Feels like a lot of ownership for a guy, on a slate where value has opened up. That said, he's been a good per minute producer. I have him at 23.8 fantasy points today. Stokastic has him at 21.9. As a result, I'm getting him at 27% ownership. Fields at 16. Jonas Valanciunas, late slate play. Good value there if you're playing a late slate. Ayo Dosunmu, he's going to come up a good amount, I think. Will gain minutes from having no Kobe White today. I'm projected to play 34 minutes now as a result, but Stokastic had him playing a little bit less minutes. It only gave him a 22-point projection, but no Kobe White means more assist upside and more minutes for Dosunmu, and he's shooting guard, small forward. So he and Herder both winning, not coming up a ton in my lineups. I do think these guys will get higher owned when we get all the data in, because the sim will only give you so many lineups with these guys when they don't look like good plays. And before Kobe White was out, they didn't look like as good of a play. So as a result, you just kind of get less overall. Somehow it's still got a lot of Vukcevic, but the Vukcevic amount, though, when things update, it's probably going to be like 50 to 70%, Bagley 25, 30%, somewhere in that range. Jalen Tyson looked like a decent value before all the other better value opened up. That said, you still have a situation with no Garland now. Again, no Lonzo Ball as well. So Tyson's minutes should be pretty secure at about 30 to 35, let's say. Jalen Tyson, 20% expected owned by the field. I had him at 41. Both numbers will come up, especially this one. He's going to probably be 33 to 50% owned, to be my guess, because of not having Garland in, not having Lonzo Ball in. Craig Porter Jr., I've also got getting more minutes now. He's still not coming up in lineups because he wasn't really a good enough play before those guys got ruled out in Stokastic data. But Craig Porter Jr., $3,900 salary. I've been playing 24 minutes today, which I believe is what he played the last time Garland and a few guys were out. There's a lot of people missing for Cleveland. So definitely minutes can flow a little bit differently, but I assume that Porter Jr. and Proctor both get an uptick. Porter Jr., though, probably going to play, if I had to guess, 20 plus minutes. I gave him 24 here. Looks like a decent value at 3,900. We're going to go game by game. And you guys know the deal here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and do the best we can in this game by game view. And again, Stokastic 15% off all the data I show you here. It will update meaningfully because they did not get all the guys who were injured in before the show. Let me just check to make sure they still haven't done that. Because if they have, I would love to make sure that we have accurate data for both sides. Nope, no update yet. So it's always tough here, but we'll still go through the process best we can. And if nothing else, you'll see what my minutes look like, my projections look like as we go game by game. But Stokastic 15% off, link down below. All the cheap stuff, all the expensive stuff, monthly, weekly, yearly. It's all 15% off. So please do join and check that out. It does support the show with half the money you pay to them coming back to me. And again, join the Discord. $5 to join. If you want to join and get my data that I show you here on screen, join one of the Squirt Squad tiers, and you'll tell by clicking the link down below. All right, so we got Atlanta 111.5 implied points. Detroit 121. So total moving towards Detroit even more with no Porzingis. Onyeka Okongwu not coming up a ton for me, though the projection at 34 fantasy points does look more playable than it would have before with him being the backup to Porzingis and playing barely any minutes of overlap. But Jalen Johnson seems like the big winner here. I'm getting him in a third of my lineups. My projection for him came up to about 54 fantasy points. I think with Porzingis in, he would have looked not unplayable, but like a tournament option at best. As it is right now with Porzingis now out, I think Jalen Johnson is really one of the ways that Atlanta hangs this game against Detroit, and I like him a lot as an option at 10K. Alexander Walker looks okay to me. Nobody else in Atlanta standing out meaningfully. Jalen Johnson, Alexander Walker, your big rate winners, and also your best producers on the team besides Okongwu. Okongwu, though, I do feel like spikes a lot in these kind of spots, so certainly wouldn't begrudge playing him. The projection, though, does seem a little bit light for his salary. Detroit, my Jalen Duren high projections continue on here. He's coming up 23% for the field. I'm at 22. My projection is about 1.3 fantasy points higher. Seemingly just the difference between Cade and Duren for me. I'm lower on Cade, higher on Duren. Stokastic higher on Cade, lower on Duren. But Duren's been producing well, 1.36 fantasy points per minute. Cade's at 1.4. Both guys playable, but certainly the field and I will be both on Duren more so. Asar Thompson coming in at 13%. There's better value opening up, but that number's probably to come down, but I was getting him at 11 before the show. So, really with my data updated as best I could, my projections rather updated as best I could. Tobias Harris, 13% for the field. I'm at 13. Again, I feel like there's better plays now than those guys. Duren, interesting to me. Cade Cunningham, I'm always light on the projection, but he really does have unlimited usage, so he can always spike on a random spot. Atlanta, slight pace up. Both league average, a little bit better than that. Defenses, so could be a spot where there's definitely some points. Total definitely seems like Detroit will have some scoring if nothing else. Cleveland 119 implied here. Indiana 113.5 implied. Cleveland getting a lot of the top guys here because of the fact we're now a little bit shorthanded with Darius Garland and Lonzo Ball on the injured list. Donovan Mitchell, I've got playing 37.5 minutes. Might be a little bit aggressive on a back-to-back, but they are shorthanded and they need to start winning some games. This one against Indiana does matter a little bit on that front. Mobley, though, Mitchell, if you give him 35 minutes, I think they'll come down a little bit more. That said, getting Mitchell at 27%, Fields at 16, which doesn't really matter that much because it's going to update when Stokastic boosts their projections for having no Garland and Lonzo Ball. But Mitchell looks good, over 50 fantasy point projection for me. Mobley, same thing. Maybe that gets knocked down a little bit if you give them a slightly more reasonable minutes projection. DeAndre Hunter, do you think has to play like 30 plus minutes here? He's always a guy that my data likes, getting him at 30% of my lineups. Fields at about 7.5. That number should come up a little bit. Jalen Tyson is value, shooting guard, small forward. Field always loves to play him, and he's producing pretty well this year at 0.91 fantasy points a minute. Doesn't gain as much rate-wise from Jared Allen and Garland off the court as Mitchell and Mobley seem to do. Same thing for Hunter. But still, good producer overall, and will play a lot of minutes. Tomlin, Dean Wade, not getting to as much, but if you flattened out the minutes a little bit more, these guys might look like better values when Stokastic updates later on. Indiana, 113.5 implied. Nobody looks great here. Teams getting pretty healthy at this point. Um, I mean, healthy relatively, but they're all kind of priced appropriately, I think. You still have the center rotation being split. That makes Jay Huff and Isaiah Jackson neither really playable. McConnell is coming up here at 4,800. I think that's going to come down a bit more with some of the value opening up in Cleveland in particular. But McConnell's producing 1.2 fantasy points a minute, and he's due to shoot a little bit better. He's never been a great shooter, but he should get closer to league average. So McConnell, I don't really have an issue with, but it's now, I think, mostly appropriately priced, perhaps besides McConnell here. All viable for tournaments, but none of them look great. Milwaukee will make up some time here as well. 120.5 implied points for them. Nobody standing out meaningfully. Giannis, I think, a little bit expensive for the minutes being capped and the fact that, he's honestly playing great at 1.8 fantasy points per minute. But you have Kevin Porter in, you have Ryan Rollins in. Those are two guys that get shots up. That's not great for Giannis, even though he'll obviously get the first crack at taking most of the shots. If you want to play Giannis, you can. I think with the way that the lineups are going to look, Cleveland looking better, I think that 11K tier just might not get paid for a lot. Washington, no Sarr makes Keyshawn George stand out the most for me, but the value is going to be pretty big with Bagley and Vucevic, two guys that should be your premier value plays in the slate. I don't think you have to play minimum one, but I would think Vucevic ends up being 50% or so owned again, assuming he's a starter. Bagley is your pivot off of that. He's probably going to be like 15, 20% owned because he'll still look like a decent value if you give him 20 minutes or something like that. There is a chance that they could go small or something and just try to put like Cam Whitmore out there, Champagnie out there, and just try to defend. But they would get absolutely destroyed at the rim by Giannis. So I think they have to play minutes, Bagley or Vucevic. Whoever's the starter, though, should be the chalk, and whoever's not starting, you want to get some exposure to, but definitely less than the starter. Koulibaly, not bad. Middleton, not bad. But these guys, not really looking that great, even with Sarr out, and a little bit of a rate boost accordingly, excuse me. Chicago. I don't even think it was an accent thing. I just quickly reverted back to my baby days. Chicago Goo Gaga coming up here. I guess Josh Giddey probably that's the guy that turned me back into a baby. Hopefully a sexy baby for him. Josh Giddey, he yelled at somebody in the crowd recently too for making like some sort of like pedophile joke, and he's like, it wasn't like that. He had some reply that was not like a good reply, so I shouldn't be doing this to Giddey. I like Giddey as a player, so let's be nice to Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, though, with no Kobe White, still doesn't project well enough for me. 47.8 fantasy points, a little bit less than a 5x value. Definitely a good tournament option going against an Orlando team that defensively is not as good as it has been, previously, but still a little bit better than league average, and it is a pace down going against Orlando. So I'm cool with Giddey whenever Kobe White's out, but not really a spot that I think you really want to be there. We got no Vucevic coming up for me. Buzelis, I got playing decent minutes, but not coming up meaningfully. Though I do have a 31 fantasy point projection here, which is not bad. Kevin Huerter coming up a little bit more, but I think really this is an issue with the sim, not having these guys in lineups enough. Chicago, you're going to probably get the second tier options more because Dosunmu, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter look like better values, picking up minutes, picking up opportunity for no Kobe White. Giddey definitely has a higher ceiling, but the minutes might not get high enough for him if he doesn't play like 35 or so. Yeah, Giddey catches strays always. Again, I like him as a player. I will caveat it that I like him as a player. Neither of the Wiz centers will give much resistance. Yeah, that's also true. Any reason to consider Penda? What? who are we talking about? Please clarify further, DeWitt. I don't know what you're saying here. Are you doing like a D's nuts joke? Got Orlando. Orlando is 123.5 implied points here. Franz Wagner not really coming up for me. Gave these guys the rate boost for no Paolo Banchero, but Franz is not getting as much of a boost this year as he has historically. Noah Penda, he's going to play 7 minutes in the data. Why? No. Noah to no. No to Noah. No. You can't just say Penda out of the blue. He's top of mind for me. But he is on the screen right here. You see him projected for 8 fantasy points. So no. And he's probably been playing unsustainably well, given the fact he's got 65% true shooting and rebounding at a rate better than anybody else in the team. So double no. But Franz Wagner going to get played by the field, I guess, a little bit. Maybe that'll change because of some better value opening up. But he's okay. If the field thinks he's okay, I'm just not getting there in my projection. Desmond Bain, I'm low on. Jalen Suggs, I'm at least close to the field on. With them playing 22%, I'm getting 17. Anthony Black, I think he's spiked the tournament upside a little bit too much lately. The price tag's up kind of aggressively as a result. Does not project well enough for me. Wendell Carter looks okay, but again, I think that this will move around a little bit. Orlando, not a bad total here. Not a bad matchup going against Chicago either. But really a spot where I think these guys are more than appropriately priced. I don't see myself getting here a lot with better things opening up. Clippers 114.5, getting a massive pace up on paper, gaining about 8 possessions here with them normally at a 97 pace. Miami at a 105 and change rolling pace. For the Clippers, a lot of James Harden for the field, a lot of Zubac for the field, a lot of John Collins for the field. I'm getting less of all those three. Chris Dunham with the field on. I think this might flatten out a little bit more because of the stuff opening up on the slate. But Harden and Zubac still should be good plays and probably less owned plays as a result. John Collins, who I've had projected well last year, he's not the same guy this year. I know he's playing backup center now, and that should help him out, but it hasn't caught up in the projection and how he's performed so far. I'm low on John Collins here, and my data loved John Collins previously. But he's barely getting assists too. That doesn't help. I don't see John Collins holding up his chalk as the day goes on, but he is currently in the data chalk. We'll see. Heat, I don't really want to play the Heat. Tyler Hero being back in, Powell, Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, they're all good enough. Hawkins is now back in as well. And you're getting a massive pace down. Total still looks good with 121 implied points for Miami, but Davion Mitchell at 9%, I think that goes away with the value opening up. Does not seem like a spot where you play Miami. Charlotte, 116 implied points. Brandon Miller, a little bit cheap, but again, 20% ownership feels like that's going to be lighter now with better spots opening up. Diabate, get a decent value, but there's probably more reliable values opening up on the slate, especially the two whiz centers. Like, you're going to want to play them more than Diabate. I think that ownership's going to come down, but I guess it's a pivot if you don't want to play the chalk. Diabate, an option, producing pretty well. Kalkbrenner, same thing. They're going against Brooklyn. That helps, but not a high pace spot. Not a great total for Charlotte. Tough combo. Brooklyn, Igor Dioman looking chalky here. He's coming up at 71% of my lineups with my data updated to reflect, some of these guys out in better value opening up. And Stokastic data before the value opened up, he was projected for 55%. He might come down a little bit because of just more options to go around. But Dioman has produced well lately. It does feel a little bit short-sighted to go to him super heavily because of the fact it's like, we're talking like 2 good games and a lot of duds around them as well. And MPJ is back in, so Porter Jr. in, getting him not very much, around 10 to 15%. Claxton, same thing for me in the field. Clowney, I'm not getting much of. Think he's a little bit expensive for Porter Jr. being back in. But Dioman is a value. I think we'll hold at 4,400 as an option. People click a lot. And there may be better value on the slate now, especially if Dioman does play down to where he's played on the air. Definitely due to shoot better, you'd hope, but he's young, so maybe not. Late games, you can take a look here if you want them. If you need this info, Houston with 122.5 implied. Reed Shepard still, I think, underpriced, even with Kevin Durant back in. Utah, nothing looking too great here. Bryce Sensabaugh is a value, I suppose. Dallas, nothing too great with AD in. Cooper Flagg rounding into form a little bit lately, it seems like. Still needs to shoot better, though. Jokic, congrats, late slate people, FanDuel people, I presume, as well. You get to play Jokic. Love him, as always. Murray, good as always to me. Peyton Watson, good as always. Denver is like the same team every slate, just a little bit underpriced to me for how they project. Phoenix, should have taken Jalen Green out, but Dylan Brooks looks okay again. His usage is trickling down a little bit, but you still get enough shots up. Devin Booker looks not that great to me with some of the wings picking up more usage lately. Booker, kind of an unimpressive star. 1.16 fantasy points a minute this year. Lakers side looks better. Austin Reeves a little bit cheap. People still not adjusting to the fact that he's probably higher in the pecking order than LeBron right now in terms of usage. But Luka looks good enough. Reeves looks good enough. Would not play LeBron personally today. All right. We're going to run a Stokastic sim here. It's not going to be the most useful, but because they have not updated yet, let me give it one more refresh. It's still an 850 update, so we'll see what they had. Again, it's Probably include some guys that are not active, but I do the best I can with the tools I'm given here, guys. So please do hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. Just one guy showing you my gambling across the NBA, across the NFL. Of course, NBA here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. All those days. NFL, you can check out my Monday Night Football Showdown video where I break down my thoughts on Giants-Patriots today. Check that out on the NFL channel. But I'm here working pretty hard, and you guys have been really supporting the channel lately, so please keep hitting that like button. Please subscribing. I'm really happy with the views I'm getting here for NBA, happy with how NFL's looking lately too. And my results for DFS play have been good. Frankly, wish they'd be as good as the view. So, I wish my profits went in parallel with how views are going. But please do hit that like button, subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. And check out Stokastic, 15% off all the monthly, weekly packages. If you want to take their weekly gravy deal, which is pretty good, you can click the link down below and then take that same deal over there, and I get attribution. It does support me, and really, November was the best month I've had for both YouTube revenue and affiliate revenue. So let's keep that going for me as best I can, because I'd like to keep growing, growing monetarily, but then I could also spend more on stuff, which would be ideal. I don't know what I'd pay for, but I could pay for something. I might want to put Bagley as your center if you're going there and switch to, you don't need to switch to anything. You just, they're the first game on the slate. You'll know before the slate starts who's starting. So you should be fine. Unless you're talking about something else to somebody in the chat, but that really, you'll know in time. So that's good news for the Washington centers. Top lineups before the injury stuff occurred, so let's keep that in mind. We got McConnell, Donovan Mitchell, so he already looked good despite having Garland and Lonzo Ball in the data set. Brandon Miller, Chris Middleton, Jalen Duren, Igor Dioman, John Collins, and Porzingis, who's now no longer available. Number 2, McConnell, Desmond Bane, Bilal Coulibaly, Chris Middleton, Isaiah Jackson, James Harden, John Collins, Ivica Zubac. So this one unaffected. Probably won't look as good, though. So definitely have better value now. Number 3, TJ McConnell, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He'll look better with no Porzingis. Bilal Coulibaly. This one's got Sar. But Mobley will look better. Sar will not be a factor. Dioman, Jalen Tyson, Jalen Duren. Number 4, Igor Dioman, Lonzo Ball, who's not playing this. I hate it when it does this. It's just all guys that are out. Jalen Tyson, John Collins, Porzingis, and other guys out. James Harden, Brandon Miller, Zubac. So don't play these lineups when they have guys out. We got McConnell, Chris Dunn, Franz Wagner, Middleton, Porzingis. Damn it. Porzingis is in this one as well. Give me one with nobody ruled out. McConnell, Keyshawn George. He only looks better with Sar out. Jalen Tyson, Mobley, Jalen Duren, Igor Dioman, John Collins, Ivica Zubac. Hooray! Nobody injured in that lineup. Stokastic will update, though. Watch their shows, Deeper Dive, Live Before Lock, whatever they have today. Check them out. Unfortunately, I can't control when they update their data. But it looks like they did love Porzingis, so maybe they'll love Okongwu a similar amount. Okongwu is priced up, though. He's, I believe, more expensive than Porzingis. That's a little bit tough. But certainly got to think that Okongwu, Jalen Johnson will come up with how much the Sims like Porzingis. John Collins, I don't like him. Sims got him at number 2 in terms of ROI. Jalen Duren at number 3. TJ McConnell at number 4. And Isaiah Jackson at number 5. Think that'll go away. I think that's going to be a Washington guy, if I had to guess. Probably Vucevic. Highest exposures with the unupdated data. And again, I'm trying to go fast with this, guys, because this is not the most valuable thing in the world, but I still want to do the process as we usually do. Igor Dioman, 77% exposure, Fields at 56. Think he'll hold as a good value despite more value opening up. John Collins, 57% exposure, Fields at 25. I think he's going to hold a little bit less well, would be my guess, than Dioman. TJ McConnell, 42%, Field at 24. Think he'll remain looking okay, but probably a little bit less owned. Jalen Duren, 41%, Field at 23. People may be paying down more at center with the Washington value opening up, but I think Duren is still a good play. James Harden, 40%, Field at 25. Think he will be less owned, but think he's still a good play. South Beach aside. Your highest leverage plays they had before these updates. John Collins, 31% more in the field. Porzingis, they had a real big stand in single-digit owned Porzingis. So that's going to move around meaningfully in Stokastic data. Igor Dioman, 21% leverage. Not a surprise given what we just saw. Jalen Duren, 18% more in the field. McConnell, a rounded up 18. And James Harden, 15% more in the field with Zubac, Jalen Tyson, Chris Dunn, not too far behind. And then we got 14% negative leverage on Jalen Suggs. Franz Wagner, -9. Wendell Carter, -8. It hates Orlando. Batadze, -8. Pascal Siakam, -7. Benedict Mathurin, -6. So real strong stands against Orlando and Indiana here, pretty much for all the key players. I mean, where did Desmond Bane land? Bane noticeably not in this group. Yeah, still negative leverage on him. All right. Well, again, guys, I wish this part were a little more helpful. Unfortunately, I can only control what I can control here, which is my part of the data. But I will give you guys my splash plays for the day with everything updated on my end. So I'll give you guys that in a moment. Before I do, one last ask. Please do hit that like button and subscribe. Goes a long way for me here, as I say all the time here. I really got to choose different words sometimes. But really, it does matter a lot for the channel's growth. I think large reason I'm getting seen by more people on the NFL channel is like they're hitting the like button more there. Same thing here for NBA. Just got to keep pandering, tap dancing for likes here. But really, it does help out when you hit the like button for me and really other creators you love to or enjoy their content, get value out of. Because ultimately we are all subject to the whims of YouTube, and the more that people give those engagements, the good engagements, even the bad ones too, you probably do see an increase there, and I'm seeing it on my end. And it's been really nice. Like I feel like the work I'm putting in feels like I'm getting reciprocated on, which is meaningful to me. So thank you guys. But do hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll thank you more. And if you, even more, if you click Stokastic, 15% off promo code Splash, link down below. If you're watching on Twitter, it's in my bio on there, both mine at Chris Spags and the Splash Play one. But check it out there. Gets you money off monthly, yearly, every package you want there. And it does support the show here with half the money you pay to Stokastic. Coming back to me and join the Discord here, $5 to join. If you want my data, join one of the higher dollar tiers, Squirt Squad tiers. You get either my matchup screen or my exportable projections. But check them out. All right, so Splash Plays for the day. Whoever starts between Vucevic and Bagley, that should be your priority number one. Whoever doesn't start between them, priority number two as your leverage play option, and really hope one of them hits. I personally, because NFL's going on, I might just go minimum one of those guys, try to get every lineup with them, and hopefully get like 75% the starter, 25% the bench guy. Evan Mobley, I think no matter what, could be a splash play for me. Keyshawn George, I would say a splash play. I'm pretty confident about that. Igor Dioman, unfortunately, the chalky splash play, but I think he's one. Jalen Tyson, I guess, would really love to see better value opening up than that. In terms of pay-up options, definitely Mobley, Jalen Johnson, Donovan Mitchell. Those are my stands right now, and I think that's going to hold. So hope that adds some value. Again, guys, make sure to gamble responsibly, as I always say, especially this NFL, NBA crossover time, so your wallet can stay thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. I got 2 new gifts, guys. Those are both, by the way, here for members. If you want to click them in the chat, you can click the eel one, you can click this one, or you can click this one. Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Wow, no channels giving deals like this. Please join down below. Follow me out, Chris Spags, all the channel at Splash Play Pod. Gamble responsibly, even though it's always money time here. I'll be back on Stokastics live before lock show for NFL today at 7:15. Back here tomorrow for NBA at 2 p.m. Check out my NFL Patriots Giants video on the Splash Play Pod channel if you wanted to get my takes for that slate. I think I've got some good ones. Really, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right giving out takes. So hope it's a good day for you guys. I will see you again soon. Shout out to the chat too. Appreciate you guys being here with me live, and all you guys who watch after the fact as well, because there's a lot of those lately. But I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Bye-bye.